Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to do edge quilling with numbers and decorate them after to create this wonderful 21st birthday card that I just created for my son. I'm a little late behind schedule, but that's what we're going to create today. And we will be using my templates for the numbers 1 and 2. And as you will see, it has pre-measured strip lengths for each of the sections of the numbers so that you don't have to measure. You know exactly the length of the strip and at what point it folds or where it cuts. With that, let's begin. So for this card, I'm going to be using my number templates for the number 1 and 2, as you see here, and I'll explain in a second how to use this. In addition, you will need a piece of paper. I've used here a thick watercolor paper, which I have pre-scored with the numbers 2 and 1 using my Cricut scorer. You can also hand score this by overlaying the template on top of the paper. Use an old ballpoint pen like this and just go over the lines here. So the advantage of pre-scoring it is you kind of see exactly where you have to stick the paper strip, the quilling strip, and it makes it very easy to get it right in the right shape. In addition to that, I have these 1/4-inch strips of light cardstock in light blue color. So let's begin. In order to use the template, what I'm going to do is start with the number 2, and the biggest, the first strip, which has the number 1 here, is this longest one, which is equivalent to the first number 1 length marked here on the template, followed by 2, which is this, which is equivalent to this part of the template. So I'm going to overlay my paper quilling strip as straight as possible on the template. Use a ruler where the separation mark is between the 2 segments and score it firmly, because this is where we're going to fold it. From here on, we will also score the end of the second segment, just so that we know where to fold. Now, what we're going to do is soften the paper and align it to this shape. So for that, what I'm going to use here is I have a crochet hook here, which is kind of the right width that I like. And basically we're going to gently soften the paper strip so that it is more amenable to gentle curves of the number 2. So if you notice, the first part is a very tight curl here in the beginning. So I'm going to make this part really nice and tight here, and I'll even go around the crochet hook a little bit. This makes it nice and tight, and I can check it against the template. So this is something we're going to do fairly repeatedly to keep checking it against the template and make sure the paper is gently curling. Doesn't have to stay exactly in shape, but gently curling along the lines of the template. So far till this point it looks good. It will turn. Here we need to soften it a little bit more. So we keep placing it on the template where we're going to end up lining up the paper to the template and make sure it can follow the curves. Again, it doesn't have to be exact, but it will follow. Now here you see my paper is curled like this, but I need it to curl backwards a little bit so that it lines up to this. So here, what we're going to do in this part, we're going to gently curve it from the opposite direction. And now this will match the contours of the template. And I need to adjust it a little bit here to go again backwards, a little bit of back and forth, and we have an almost perfect template here. Next, because it's all connected, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off this paper at the end of it, just as the template suggests to cut it off here. We can cut it off. Now, what we have to do, because later on, after, if I glue this part first, it's gonna be very hard to soften this part of the strip. So we're gonna do that before we start gluing it. So I'm gonna soften this part into the shape as dictated by the template, and the second half curls back upwards. So going from the back, we're gonna curl it gently upwards. I'm not applying a lot of pressure, but with the help of the crochet hook, or you can use a wooden dowel or even the back of your crochet tool, you can start to curl and soften your paper. So you can see this is starting to now follow the curve. So this needs a little bit of a sharper curve at the very end. So we're gonna do that. And a little bit more of a curve here and a sharper curve at the end. Just keep checking it against the template, and I think we have it. Good. Now we're gonna glue it. To begin gluing, what I have done is I've taken a little plastic box, and at the back of it I've put in a little transparent glue, which is this Elmer's clear glue, and I'm gonna use a piece of paper, the edge of a paper, and just spread it really thin so that I can dip the edge of my quilling paper and gently glue it. So with that, let's begin gluing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just gently touch my quilling paper that we just curled and softened with the glue. Use a pair of tweezers to hold it in the right place. We're going to start gluing it. Follow the contours of where we have scored and gently place your paper into the contours. The minimal amount of glue that we have is going to be enough to hold it in place. As you can see, it is staying in the grooves where we are placing. And don't worry if it sometimes comes off, just gently nudge it back and it will stay. Now what I'm seeing here is I have a little bit less glue in some areas, which we're gonna fix very gently with my piece of paper that I used. It still has some glue. I'm gonna gently slip it underneath and apply some glue. Where you might get glue on the paper, you can just go in and gently wipe it away. There you go. I'll wipe away the glue. A little bit more glue here, especially at the end. We're almost there. Make sure the end comes at the right place so that the next segment can come and join properly. A little bit of difference here should be okay. All right, we just did our first segment. So for the next segment, I have laid out the number 3, 4, and 5 strips and marked and scored. Now we're going to start to fold and then soften the paper. So for that, I'm going to zoom in. Number 3 is this, where we're going to join it to the previous segment. And I'm just going to fold. Now we're going to start to soften this strip, the middle segment. Keep testing it against the contours and soften it gently. And now this one folds outwards, the last one. There's a sharper turn here, slightly. Come and join here. Next, we're going to glue this. Do the same thing. I'm going to gently touch the edge of the paper into the glue. Set the glue aside. Now we're going to start gluing. For this one, I'm going to start gluing from this end. It's a little bit cleaner. it. There you go. Now you notice these edges are not yet, they're in place, but they're not glued together. So what we're gonna do is same thing with our little piece of paper. I'm going to gently pick up just the tiniest bit of glue and run that on the edge of this paper. Now I'm going to use my tweezers and gently bring the two edges together. Hold them for a bit until they stay in place. There you go. Our part is done. Piece of the number 2, which is the 6th segment here that I've cut as long as the template, and we're gonna curve it based on this part of the template. So here starts off with one little curve, a gentle curve, slightly tighter at the beginning, let's just double check how it is lying, and from this part goes a little bit backwards. Have to adjust it. I went a little too far. Let's test it against the template so you can see what I'm doing. Here. So it's this part we're testing. Almost have it correct. Just a little bit of a deeper curve here. Maybe a flatter curve here. And we have it. Now let's glue this. Same thing. We're going to dip the edge of our paper in glue. For number 2, we just have to glue the edges. Like before, we're going to dip our paper get a little bit of glue on it. And we're gonna kiss the glue on the edge and on the edge here. All right, now we gently make sure the two are touching. Hold it for a couple of seconds. And this looks good. Same thing here. Gently touch them. Hold for a couple of seconds. And that's it. This is our number 2. Now we're going to start on the number 1. Again, I have my quilling strip, and let's work on the template. So let's start with the first part of the template first. And mark out, or rather score, all of the sections. I'm going to start with my ruler, hold the strip firmly in place with one finger so that it doesn't move, score firmly, keep the strip in place, move to the next section, score again, and then at the end. Alright, now for ease of working in smaller sections, we're going to cut off at the end of the third one. I like to score it to make sure I'm cutting on a straight line. That helps. Now, if we see our template, this is number 1, this is number 2, and this is number 3. And these are the 3 that we're going to soften the paper for right now. So, number 1, we'll go and we'll fold it like this. This is the second one. It goes like this. So just folding it, because this is pretty much a straight line. No curve here. So let's start with first softening the paper to curve this, and it's going to soften in this direction. So we're going to take our crochet hook and gently soften it, because it's a very gentle curve. Let's put it on the template. Make sure it's following the curves a little bit more. There you go. Pretty good. From here, this is mostly a straight line until the very end. So let's see where we have to start to bend it. Roughly here. Here it bends outwards. It's a straight at the end, fairly strong curve. So again, testing it with the template. Okay, I think I got the curve at the slightly wrong place. I'm gonna straighten that part out, curve it a little bit lower. Fix it a little bit more, just a tad. And I think we have it. All right, now let's glue. Same as before, I have my blob of glue, and I've used the edge of a paper to just make it as thin as possible, spread it out. Now I'm going take my paper strip that we softened and gently dab a bit of glue. Set that aside. Now let's start to glue this in place. Hold it for a couple of seconds, allowing the glue to take hold. Just in a couple of seconds, it ends up holding in the right place. There you go. That's part one. Now we go back to our template for the rest of number one. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. They're small ones, pretty straight segments, not a lot of curves. So we're going to do it all together. The template has the sections clearly marked. As before, we fold it, we score it. So because there's a very small part under the ruler here, I'm going to put my little finger here so that it doesn't move. Score. That's it. Now we can cut off at the end of the last section. Now number 4 is straight and then it curves inwards, so we're going to just fold it at the score, a 90-degree angle. 5 is also straight, it goes up, so we're going to fold it. 6 curves, we'll soften it in a minute. Now here's something to keep in mind. Make sure we fold them in the direction in which it goes. So when 7 goes, 8 folds in the opposite direction. So don't forget that the folds have to follow the numbers curves, and then 9 back up. So as you can see, most of them are pretty straight. There's only one part here in number 7, this long one, that we have to soften for. So roughly here it goes like this. So we'll use our trusty crochet hook and just curve it a little bit and check against the template to make sure it's landing in the right place. Not quite. A little bit further up and a sharper curve. Not there yet. Further up. Okay, let's see if we got it this time. If you do get a curve in the wrong place or a bend, paper is very forgiving. We can always go and gently soften it in the other direction. Okay, I think we're getting there, but curve needs to be sharper. So let's use this quilling needle. See if we can make the turn a little bit sharper. I think we got it. Again, it doesn't have to be exact, but it's going to work. All right, now let's go for, I'm gonna use our glue. Kiss the paper with the glue, just gently. Set that aside. Now let's stick it in place. What can work well is if you use a straight edge like a ruler or a small credit card to line up your straight edges. But before we get there, try to set this edge. I think I got this one. Oops. Let's hold it a little bit longer. All right, works. Let's line up the corner where it belongs. Gently nudge the paper. And make the corners line up. You can gently nudge the paper if you see it is slightly in the wrong place. The paper has the flexibility and it will line up. To be honest, it's a little bit off. It will be barely noticeable. Okay, let's hold on to it for a bit. All right, now like before, let's clean up these joints. We have our trusty little paper strip. I'm going to tear it apart. Pick up a little bit of the glue. Don't need a lot. And run a little bit here. Okay. Let's bring them together. Hold. There you go. If you see an extra blob of glue, just a little bit with the tweezers, it's going to remove that. Hold it for a couple of seconds and the joint will hold. Pick up the glue again. This time we're gonna kiss the glue on this side. Touch the two together. And hold. Okay, we have our number 21. So to decorate this now, given it's fall, I'm going to use some fall colors. So I have orange, red, yellow, and a couple of shades of green. And we're going to try to keep it simple but elegant. So a little bit of the strips out so we have them handy. Yeah, starting with the orange one. What I want to do is a small tight curl, tight round curl, and I want to do some swirls inside first, and then we'll do some small decorations outside and some lines to do the filling. Just a small curl. And if I remove it and let it open. So it's just the right size to fit into the widest part of the two. What I want to do is I want to do a curl like this. So I'm going to leave a little length, just approximately about, let's say this is about, I'm going to leave, let's say 12 centimeters and cut it off. Now we're going to do a reverse curl from the other side. About the same. Pull it out. We have a small little S curve which can fit in here. Okay, so what we're gonna do, these are forgiving enough, so it's a little bit wider than my space, so I'm gonna hold it like this. Touch it with the glue. And just drop it in place and press it down. That's it. We have some decoration. We're gonna now add a small tight little loop of yellow here. So I'm just playing it by ear. It's very, very forgiving. So if your loop is a little bit small, you can let it open and expand. If it's too tight, curl it up tight. So you can't go wrong with this. Okay, I think this is about as big of a roll that will fit in there. My little bottle of glue is not working, so we're going to use the other one. Hold it for a couple of seconds. Now that the dip it in the glue and drop it in. Good. We're gonna do a couple other swirls here. This time I'm gonna go with red. Smaller, tighter curls. So I'm gonna show you something that we can do to fill up the space very nicely. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take it out. then we go about a couple of centimeters below, insert our quilling needle there, keep it as straight as you can, 90 degrees to the paper. Now we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it go. See, it starts to give you a running S curve. So again, go down about 2 centimeters. Reinsert. Keep it as much as possible at a 90-degree angle. And then we start to curl 1, 2, 3, 4. Leave it. Keep doing it for as long as you want to fill up the space. So that's what we're aiming for. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's okay if you want to go a little bit tighter. See, my paper is a little bit messed up here, but that's fine. When I curl it, it's gonna be okay. 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm gonna stop right here. I think I have enough to fill it in. I'm just gonna snip the paper here. And let's see how this looks. Okay, I'm gonna first try to stick it in. Just drop it in. See, not too bad. This part isn't quite fitting, but we got it in. Okay, there you go. That's how it's gonna look. Now, we're gonna gently pull it out. Don't worry, you're not going to ruin it no matter what. This is very forgiving. So, I'm gonna kiss it with our glue. And drop it in. Make the curls a little bit tighter with your tweezers if you have to fit them in. That's it. Hold them down to let the glue take hold, and there you go. Done. Now we're gonna do one more nice big curl and fill that in here. This time I'm gonna go with yellow. So for the first one, we're going to make a little bit of a bigger circle. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10-ish. Okay. That's okay. Now we're going to have tighter curls to fill it here. So this time a little bit, slightly less than 2 centimeters, because we want a tight curve. So 1, 2, 3 and a half. 1.5 centimeters down, 90 degrees. 1, 2, 3.5. Keep going. One more. Okay, again, snip the paper. Now, I'm gonna be bold here because we just did one. So I'm just gonna not try it and see how it works out. All right. Now let's drop it in. This is my big curl. I'll tighten this one. I think we ran into a bit of a snag here. Okay, let's see if we can get it in. Not quite working out. Okay. All right, now we got it. There you go. So don't do what I did without trying it out. Lesson learned. So what I'm gonna do is snip this off. Call it a day here. So troubleshooting on the fly here. Moral of the story is you can't go wrong. It's fairly easy to decorate. There you go. I'll take maybe this leftover bit of swirl, fix it up, dip it in glue, could use it here. Now I'm going to use a little bit of the green. And what we're going to do is have a couple of little decorations here. A couple. So again, put our quilling needle in. So I'm going to lightly curl it. You can see what I'm doing. There. That's what I wanted. What I'm going for is something like this. Right? And cut it off here. Make it a small one. Somewhat like that. Now we're going to go with the darker green. To do the same thing here with the darker green. This time make it a slightly bigger loop. Just gonna nuzzle behind the light green. Again, softening the paper with a light curl, kind of like that. Okay, that's what we got. What I'm going for here is something like this. That's the look I want. So with that, cut this one off here. Maybe glue both of these together. Yeah. Dip it in glue. And for this, what I'm gonna do is touch this part with glue a little bit because I want this to stick to the edge of the two here. So gently place it in the right place and press it in. That's it. I'm gonna go back to the light green and maybe have a couple here as well. What I want to do is perhaps give you another little, we're gonna have maybe a couple of leaves on this. So what I'm doing is about 1.5 centimeters. Cut it as straight as you possibly can. Just fold it in half. Pinch the edge. Pinch it between your fingers so that it becomes like a leaf. The more you pinch, the fatter the leaf. Now, what we're going to do is we want to glue these two edges together so that it makes a leaf. And we're going to kiss the two edges with our glue, just like that. And hold them together for a bit. And we have a leaf. There you go. Oops. A little bit longer. There you go. Now we're going to, again, kiss it. It's okay if it opens up. We're gonna touch it again. And we put it in place. Hold it down. There you go. We can make a couple of leaves like that. So just approximately 1.5 centimeters. Oops. Centimeter and a half. One more. And sometimes the cut isn't quite straight, so I just go in and snip the two together to make sure they're going to line up. They're in hold the glue. glue them. There you go. I think we need to fill up something here. Why don't we try to fill it up with perhaps some green strips, or maybe a simpler one. Let's do 2, 3, 4, and I'll cut it off. There you go. Something like this, enough to fill in the gaps here. Not repeating the mistake from before. Want to try it out. Seems to fit, so we're gonna do it again. And put it in. There you go. Number 2 is done. What I want to do with this is I want to fill the bottom, maybe also with orange. Two centimeters down. One more. Oh, this worked out perfectly. Now we're gonna try it out. Not too bad. It wasn't exactly what I had envisioned, but it will work. And that's the charm. Sometimes things just work out differently from what you had envisioned, but they're just as beautiful. Fit it in. There you go. That works. And we're gonna do some here. Let's do red. This is a small one here, and we need a slightly bigger one. Okay, then let's see what happens. We'll just keep making swirls and just gonna fill up the space. Let's see. Let's try it. Where's our first one? Here. this goes in. And maybe something like this fills it up. All right. Okay. Now we drop it in. We place our curls maybe a little bit tighter together. There you go. Filled in. Let's do some yellow. Since we have a little bit gap there, why don't I use this little strip of yellow, make it a tight curl, and fill in that space. I'm not even going to glue this. Let's try something here. And I just hold it with my hand, kiss it with the glue, drop it, and let it open as much as it does. There you go. Now it nicely fills the space. With this, I'm going to fill in the rest of it with more curls. This is a very, very simple technique to do. No cutting, not too much advanced work, and yet it gives such a beautiful look and it fills up the space beautifully. Very, very beginner friendly. And you can stop no measuring required. You can't go wrong with it. Choose just one more, and we're going to stop here. Okay, let's see what this will do. I'm going to just maybe start here. This is bigger than I need. Something along these lines. So I'm going to cut off one of these curls. I don't think I need them. It's 1, 2. Okay, let's see if I can wing it one more time. My glue is going to dry here soon. Let's see as much as we can get out of it. we managed to get it. So there's your 1 and 2. We can do a little bit of decoration here. Let's do a couple of simple ocean waves, perhaps. Or we're gonna do a wave. Oh, a little bit of a loop. Okay. Just approximately, and this is I think about 6 centimeters. I'm not gonna pinch it here, but I am going to glue the 2 ends together very, very lightly. A little bit of glue. Hold it. Now, soften it by hand because I want to. I'm not going to pinch the end. If you want, you can use your. It's starting to come off. Gonna glue that back together. Soften it like that. Okay, that's the shape I'm going for. Basically, kind of like that. We're gonna do a couple of those. All right. I'm gonna do a small little yellow one inside the red. About 3 centimeters. Do the same thing. And glue the ends. Touch of glue. And hold the ends together for a few seconds till the glue takes hold. Okay. I'll give it very, very gentle softening. Okay, what we want is for this to fit inside the red. Again, easy enough. You can't go wrong if you don't have it exact. No harm done. Okay, there you go. And we can, where's my orange? Here. Maybe yellow. We can have a curl of yellow here and a curl of yellow there. And that would be it. So let's soften it up here to give it a nice little shape. Remember, if it's too curled, too round for you, you can always go back and open it up very, very lightly until you're happy with the shape that you want, and then cut it off the right place. Is something like that. We're going to do one here, and that would be it. Goes like that. There you go. You have your 21st birthday card. Thanks for watching.